You requested that I do a tutorial on how to create this effect from my latest music video, so here it is. I started by finding a green suit for my model. It's a full green suit and normally the face is covered. What I did is that I took a pair of scissors and I just did an incision, like a horizontal incision there. So I was able to open the front of it. In the back there's like a zipper, but it's pretty hidden. It would have been pretty hard for him to breathe otherwise. So here you see the zipper in the back. I used some green paint on his face, body paint for kids, so it's safe. And I use a similar green tone for the glasses too. I spray painted it. I also spray painted the skates, so I used a similar color of green. It's okay if the green don't really match perfectly, but if you can get the same exact color, then it would be a lot easier to key it after. So it's really something to consider. In this case, I really couldn't find the same one, so I really went with what I could find. Green is not the only color you can use to key it. You can key any color. In this case, we knew that most of the locations didn't have a lot of green, so we went for a total green suit. Sometimes it might not work perfectly. I didn't really care if the background was also a galaxy. For the smoke, we used different color of smoke grenades. And these things, they are so powerful and so pretty. They don't last very long, so you really have to act fast when you start them. And I put some green tape on it. That way we could only see the smoke part.
Come out in front.
Yeah.
I hurt myself. It's okay, it's okay.
Just dance, it's pretty!
Let's go, it's awesome.
Dave was wearing some gloves under his suit, but even there, like the suit I think burned at some places because this gets so warm. So you have to really be careful if you're gonna use that. We got them from rocketfireworks.ca if you want to check their products. What I like about it is that we got different colors, like in this case it was purple and this one blue, and we got some yellow and some green too, because I wanted to have so much green everywhere that it would become very abstract and the galaxy would just spread everywhere with the smoke. And the costume itself is a piece made by my friend at Cyntault Créations, so it's made by Cynthia, and it was very heavy for Dave to carry, and it's not something that is easy to wear, but I think that the circusy vibe really worked well with the video. She has a bunch of cool costumes and creations, so if you want to check out her Facebook page, I'll put it in the description. She just did a super cool mermaid shoot with Wong, the photographer, so you should check it out. It's called Mermaid 8 Plastic, like they don't like plastic. I'll put it in the link below. I'm gonna do it in two parts. First, I'm going to show you how to create the galaxy background, and then I'm going to show you how to key your green man out. To create this space background, I'm going to use a free space texture. So you can go on Google and write royalty-free space image and you'll find a bunch, and just make sure that it's really royalty-free. And in After Effects, I'm going to start a new composition, new comp, 1920 by 1080, 24 frames per second, and I'm gonna make this like 30 seconds just to make sure that it's long enough. I'm just going to drag my galaxy there. It's already the right size, so that's perfect, we're lucky. Also, I downloaded royalty-free footage from Footage Island on YouTube. They have a bunch of different free clips for you to use, and I'm just going to import it as well. So I'm gonna layer it on top, and I'm gonna take the corner here, and I'm gonna press shift to retain the proportions, like that. And with the blending mode, I'm simply going to find one that I like. I like lighten. So if I remove it, you see that there's less stars. So now I'm going to add more particles. I go in layer, new, solid, and I choose white. You can choose other colors too if you would like to have stars of different colors. I'm going to use white today. And in the FX and preset, I'm going to write CC star burst. I just drag it and I drop it on my solid. And when you apply it, the little circles are way too big, so you have to tweak it a little bit. I'm going to change the scatter like this, and I'm going to change the grid spacing, maybe like that, and the size, make it a little smaller. It just adds more little stars, and you can change the speed too. I like when it's slower, so maybe 0.3. Now it will be more smooth, especially if you work with slow motion footage. So I think it's just missing maybe a little bit of smoke. So I went online on 4kfree.com and it's full of free footage. So I downloaded it, and when you enter this and you click here to download, it brings you to another page. Film burns, overlays, you can download the overlays. And if you want the full product, you can purchase it. I went down the old page and I chose smoke. So in the pack there's 4 different smoke effects. So I'm going to import the 4 smoke effect and see which one would work in this case. So I'm just drag and dropping it. I'm gonna put it on top. And it's way bigger than my composition because it must be like in 4K, like the title says it. This one doesn't really work for a space type of imagery. So I'm gonna try the other ones. Or maybe that would be okay. So something like this. I'm just going to duplicate it, Ctrl D. I'm gonna pre-compose these 2 to have only 1 layer. So now I can go in the blending mode and I can change it to screen perhaps. It's just going to add more dimension to it. I'm selecting all my clips and I right click and I'm going to pre-comp it. So that's going to be my sky. And I remember that what I did is that I added a keyframe at the beginning for rotation and for scale. And I made it go bigger and have a little curve, little rotation, so like this. Maybe it just created more movement. And I'm selecting my keyframe and I right click and I go in keyframe assistant and I ease out. So at the beginning I ease out and at the end I ease in. That's going to make the movement look more smooth. And if you want to tweak the colors, there's many things you can do. You can go in layer, new adjustment layer, and you could add a hue saturation on top. That way you could change the color directly there. It looks pretty good. There's tons of ways to do color correction, but I think that's going to work out for today. Now we're going to key our green man and we're going to replace his body by the star background we just made. The first way would be to simply remove the green, and the other way would be to use him as an alpha channel. I'm going to show you both ways. So now we have our star background. I'm going to import one of the clip, go in Effect and Presets and write Key Light. It comes with After Effects, so you should be able to find it easy. I drag it on top of my clip and I just select the color and automatically all the green will disappear. Then after I go in Screen Matte and here you can tweak it to try to keep some of the details maybe. You can soften the edges, which makes a little bit of glow on the border. I find that as is, the effect is not very convincing. That's why with the color correction and the other effects you put on top, then it looks more real. So for this one, I'm also going to drag and drop key light on my clip. I'm going to pick the color of his face because I find that it's the green that works the best for now. I'm going in the Screen Matte and I'm going to tweak the clip black and clip white until I only see the shape of my green man. So instead of the green man disappearing to show the galaxy through him, everything that is around the green man is now transparent. So when I'm going to link my galaxy to my alpha matte, which is the green man, then he's going to be completely covered by the galaxy. So the first thing would be to tweak the black and the white until I get a surface that seems to cover his whole body. And once it's done, I'm going to add a Gaussian blur and I'm going to soften my matte. So that way, if there are some areas that are not completely covered, then the galaxy will cover it better. Also, it's going to create a little bit of fuzz and fog around him, some kind of glow because of the Gaussian blur. So I find that for this type of imagery, it works really well because of that. I'm going to duplicate it, Ctrl D. I delete the effects on this layer. And then I'm going to place it under my star composition. And my star composition, I'm going to go in the mode and choose Alpha Add. And in the track matte right next to it, I will choose the name of the clip that is on top of it. That way it's going to tell my star to cover everything that is not transparent on top of it. So in this case, the green man. I think it did a great job at covering it. And now I'm going to use some plugins to remove the remaining green. And I'll show you exactly what I did. I added a layer, new adjustment layer, and then I use Magic Bullet Looks 4 to remove the green. So I'm going to use it now to show you. I'm gonna make a full review soon and show you what you can do with it. So I chose HSL colors. So you see that here. For this part, it sees it as a bluish color, so I'm just gonna make it more purple. If you compare before and after, it really catches all the little parts I couldn't catch before. So that's what I did for it. Click here. So I find that when we use it as a alpha matte, I find it's more smooth and dreamy. So this is what I use most of the time. And when I was done with it, what I did is that I added a new layer. And I did another layer of magic bullet looks. Yeah, I had a look that I really like, pink and love. So I did that, but I didn't use it at 100%. I think I maybe just gave it a little tint, maybe like 70. And the other thing I did was that I made another layer and I abused and I added another look. And what I did is that I chose to add a chromatic aberration. It's going to create like a 3D type of effect on the border, and it's a little bit retro-ish, and it really helps to make the effect believable. So I'm just going to add a little bit again. You can choose the colors, like right now I see a little bit of blue and red, and it just adds a little border here, like a little red, and it makes it more smooth. And some of the clips I also added a little bit of blur, so I went in the lens section and I added an edge softness, but I made it like high quality at 10, so it was more smooth. This part, I think I added it on top of my crop. I used the cinemascope crop lines. It made my clip look anamorphic, and because I added the Magic Bullet Looks 4 on top with the chromatic aberration, it also added the blue line on the outline. So I think that added to the cinematic look too. And once I was done with that, I made another layer, adjustment layer, and then I used Sapphire. I'm gonna go in Sapphire Builder, bring the S effect there. So I load the preset. Okay, it was in the Glint Rainbow, and I chose the Spectral Circus. This one is also pretty cool. So I'm just going to select the same one now, and I'll load it. But this one I used before the cinema crop thing. I open the transform settings, and I'm just going to lower the opacity of that layer because I did not use it to its full intensity. I remember dimming it a little bit. Yeah, thank you very much for checking how I made it, and I hope it will inspire you. So all these effects you could pretty much create with other techniques too if you don't wish to get the plugins. If you wish to try Sapphire, I know there's a free license if you're a student, and you can also try it for 30 days for free, so it's way enough to create your project. And also Magic Bullet Looks, you can also try it for free, I think. It was a very special for Dave and for Beni because Dave, he was just doing his trial for what happened, and he's a victim during the assassination attempt on Pauline Marois, which is one of the politicians here where I live. It happened at the metropolis of Montreal, and it was a few years ago, and Dave still lives with the mental pain and the physical pain. Like, it was really intense. Like, getting shot is pretty intense, and he's just such a positive guy, and it was really nice to see that he was able to skate again, and just like, I know he suffers a lot, but like, it was really nice to see him do that. And especially on the site of where it happened, we went back to where the shooting took place, and it was really at first hard for Dave to just go back there, but I think he just took it on a very positive type of vibe. And people, when they were seeing his costumes, it was pretty early in the morning, like 5:30 a.m. And when people were seeing Dave skating around in his green suit with his tutu, with his smile on his face, it just brought so much joy to people. And it was a very positive experience for everyone. And I think that's the best part of the video. It's all about love and understanding and positive vibe.